This short video is students' reflections on the module Energy and Development in the Middle East and Central Asia. It is offered to students in Politics, International Relations at the School of Social Sciences, University of Westminster. To consolidate the students' learning and develop their skills and knowledge of a Middle Eastern country, we offer them a short visit of 4 days to Istanbul, where they are taught by Turkish academics and visit various historical, political, social, and cultural landmarks. We hope this video provides academics and students with a different way of collaborating, learning, and teaching in a global context.
And experience this trip was an amazing journey, as I was finally able to learn and put into perspective everything that I have only been really learning through lectures and textbooks. I think being part of this trip for me was important for a lot of reasons. One being that I was able to communicate and talk to professors and academics from Turkey who were able to speak to us on their perspective of global affairs and international relations and the position which Turkey holds. The reason why this trip was so amazing as it was, being able to make new friends with people I never really got a chance to speak to in lectures, being able to make memories with them and learn through their perspective as well as the coordinators of this trip. And I think they did such an amazing job, since within our 6 days, within this time limit, we were able to learn so much, and this trip really was insightful and was very, very cool.
The field trip to Turkey was definitely a great opportunity for me to experience a whole new culture and also put myself in a completely different environment. It was a trip that was an unforgettable opportunity. It gave me the chance to speak to locals inside Turkey, to speak to academics, to learn more about the history and the culture of Turkey in itself. Turkey is definitely a very, very interesting country to look into and to analyze, especially in regards to their economic and political policies. For example, when I spoke to the vice president of the university, he told me about how there was a lot of heavy frustration amongst the community, and particularly with himself as well, in regards to the future of Turkey and the economical situation that they're in. It was a really good opportunity for me to look at how development has changed over time in Turkey and how some things still have stayed the same. It was also nice to see how different factors can affect development within Turkey. There is definitely a strong sense of nationalism, and pretty much all the population is very, very proud to be Turkish. However, there is still a strong fear in regards to how clear Turkey's future is and how strong their position is on the international scale.
The field trip to Istanbul was definitely the highlight of my academic year. Not only I got a chance to get to know more about Turkish culture, people, economics, politics, but also I made a lot of new friends and got very important and unique insights about the life in Istanbul. And also we have attended a conference at the Partnership University where professors and academics were giving very interesting presentations on the politics and economics of Turkey.
So the main aspect that I really liked about this field trip is the opportunity that gave us to build our own perspective of the Middle East, and so breaking some of the superficial Eurocentric portrayal of Turkey. For example, we came across a vast ethnical diversity in Istanbul, starting from Turkish, Levantine, Armenian, Greek, and the list goes on. Another experience that I really enjoyed about this field trip in Turkey is the opportunity of meeting some of the academics that gave us their perception of international relations studies and their perception of Turkish history and development. In fact, during some of the lectures we had down in Istanbul at some of the universities, we spoke about the role of Turkey in the Middle East and in the world. We debated about the role of Turkey and the European Union, and we also spoke about the future of the country. During this field trip, we also had time to visit different parts of Istanbul. It was interesting to see how different parts of Istanbul could tell us a different part of history, and also how different neighborhoods would express Islam in different ways.
For me, Istanbul was a really good opportunity to make new friends with people who I've been on a course with for over 2 years now and maybe haven't spoken to or have had a conversation here or there, but haven't really spent time with and made friends with, basically. So it was really nice to branch out and make new friends and work with new people as well. In terms of like a significant aspect of the trip, it was really good to go somewhere which has a very different culture to places I've been before. I've been to a lot of places which have either been majoritively secular or have held sort of Christian values, and I think in the UK that's what we're used to.
So for me, the field trip to Istanbul was such an amazing opportunity. What shocked me was seeing street children on like everywhere we went, the tourist cities, the old cities, and I knew from like articles, news, course lectures that the economic situation was not really good. It's not really good in Turkey nowadays, but actually feeling it just gave me a totally different impression. And yeah, that was a really memorable experience I went through during this trip. And also what I enjoyed was the lectures we had in the university in Turkey. And one of the most interesting one was the relationship between EU and Turkey. Since Turkey has been applying to become a member state of EU for decades, but still struggling. It was really interesting to know the perspective from inside Turkey.
Going to Turkey was a great way to just embed ourselves in the country and really learn about the country for what it is. Often when Turkey's talked about in the media over here, it's quite negative. And the Brexit vote, how it's portrayed as letting a Muslim country into the EU and stuff like that. And like the reports on the coup a few years ago, I've only really heard people talk about it in a negative light. And being there, it really debunked all that for me. Where we stayed was in the Asian side. It was really secular and full of bars and restaurants, like on every street. And as well, it surprised me how big Istanbul was, especially with both sides, the European side and the Asian side. I didn't know how big it was, and it really exceeded my expectations. As well as going across to the European side on the boat was really interesting because you got to see all the views of the city. And as well as this, you got to see for miles and miles on the horizon, there was just big cargo ships as we were crossing the Bosphorus Strait, which just showed how important it is for maritime trade and the power it has over it in the region. As well as this, we went to the university and heard from academics from Turkish universities who talked about different aspects of Turkey in the global world, and we heard about it from an economic point and what their resources are there, as well as hearing about their ambitions to become a global power, which was very interesting because that's never a take I've heard before about Turkey. And it was good to hear it from their perspective rather than our perspective, because it honed in more on what they thought was important rather than what we think as Turkey to be important. As well as this, it was just a great way to get to know people in my course. With us having our first year online, I think it was a good way for us all to actually bond and get to know each other, which is not something I've had the chance to do before.
Going to Istanbul was an eye-opening experience that I will never forget, learning about the culture, the food, the people, the goods they have there as well. For example, they're really good with dried fruit and stuff like that. Their exports and imports, the silk, But one thing that I took a lot of notice of is, despite the fact that it's a Muslim country and they have Muslim values, they also adopted a lot from the West. You can see in their structure, their way of life, they're quite liberal. But going over to, we went to PLOT. When we went to PLOT, you could see the more traditional side. They're quite grounded. They stick to their traditional values. It looks quite traditional as compared to where we stayed in Kadikoy, where you kind of feel the urban lifestyle. They're more liberal. So that was something that stuck with me.
I learnt so much about the Turkish culture, the people, the politics, and the economy, and so much more. I have never visited Turkey before, so it was very exciting to finally visit a country that I've been wanting to go to, and to also be alongside my friends. After visiting Turkey, I can say that I understand Turkey on a deeper level, in that I spoke to many of the locals and saw many economic and political aspects. One aspect of Istanbul that I noticed was the vast number of Turkish flags and images of the current president, Erdogan, and the previous president, Kemal Atatürk. This gave me a great sense of patriotism from the Turkish citizens, and it really showed me how much they love and feel proud of their country. We were able to see many historical landmarks and sites, such as the Hagia Sophia Mosque, the Blue Mosque, Galata Tower, Pilot, Taksim Square, and my favourite was the bazaars, so the Spice and the Grand Bazaars. Each of these areas was so incredible and so full of life, and I enjoyed it so much. The Turkish cuisine was also amazing. We were never hungry there. From the street food to the baklava and the Turkish tea, it was amazing. I have learnt so much from the trip, and now that I've been to Istanbul, I really want to go and explore different parts of Turkey, so that would be amazing.